Hello, and welcome to the Purpose Partner Path podcast. And I'm your host, Coach Wendy, also known as the Purpose Partner, where I walk alongside women when they're at crossroads, when they need help, helping them become unshakable and to live with strategic grace. Today's episode is both timely and deeply meaningful because we're going to talk about something that's going to touch our hearts, our minds, and our community. It's a powerful moment in history. The Orange County Black Solidarity Network's Juneteenth kickoff celebration, which will take place on Thursday, June 4th, 2026, at the beautiful Arts and Learning Conservatory in Costa Mesa, California. And I've had the ability to go visit there, and it is absolutely wonderful. This year's theme is honoring freedom, advancing equity, strengthening community. And the overarching message is Black Orange County has a story to tell, a Juneteenth celebration. And today, we're going to lean into that story. So, you know what we do? Go grab your cup of tea so we can dive into today's episode.
Exhale, let go, and enjoy the purpose. Partner.
My guest today is the man that is helping to lead this event. He will also serve as the MC, and I've had the privilege of knowing him for quite some time, and his name is Mr. Gregory C. Scott. Gregory Scott is the president and CEO of the Community Action Partnership of Orange County, and he brings over 25 years. When you see him, you're not going to be able to believe that he's had 25 years of executive leadership and experience across both the nonprofit and private sectors. But more than titles, Gregory Scott is a builder of systems, a champion for dignity, and a leader committed to real change. His work spans economic mobility, workforce development, housing insecurity, mental health, which we all need that today,
Mm,
youth and
yeah.
family empowerment, and community resilience. He has led organizations through transformation and growth, including, but not limited to, New Directions for Veterans, the Weingart Center, Youth Build USA, and his leadership has been recognized at the highest levels, including the Joining Forces Award from our former First Lady, Michelle Obama, and Dr. Jill Biden. Welcome, Mr. G. You know that's the name I love to call you.
Wow, Wendy. I almost for a second said, who is she talking about? Because that can't be me. But I am so
It,
honored to be on a podcast. I follow it every week. I'm watching your guests and watching the amazing work that you are putting out into the atmosphere. What a journey. I met you over 10 years ago when I
yeah.
was a youngster, and you really helped me navigate these LA streets. So I am so honored for you being a coach, being a friend, being a mentor. I'm honored to be with you today, the great opportunity to talk about Juneteenth, the Orange County Black Solidarity Network, and why this moment matters. So I'm very excited to talk about as we commit ourselves to the work of freedom, equity, justice, and to really kick off Juneteenth was on purpose. So this celebration matters as the beginning of the month as we celebrate the entire month of Juneteenth, and why history, culture, leadership, community, right, why it really matters in this space. So thank you again for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
So, wow, you've already even touched on a few of the bullet points that I want to make sure we dive in a little bit deeper. So, can you just share with me a little bit about what does Juneteenth mean and where did it come from?
Well, I was today years old as I continue to just appreciate what Juneteenth really means. And so every year and every time this subject comes up, I get more and more connected to it. But Juneteenth really marks June 19th, 1865. That date is important. So it marks June 19th, 1865, why we call it Juneteenth. It's when enslaved people from Galveston, Texas, finally received the news that they were free. And what it means is that they were free almost 2 years
Almost
ago,
2 years.
for after the Emancipation Proclamation had already been signed, but they didn't get word until 2 years later. So that history is important because it reminds us that freedom here in America has never been simple. It's never easy. Even in 2026, we are still seeing the impact of centuries ago, that freedom is still not simple in 2026.
Hmm.
But it's also a reminder that freedom can be delayed, but not denied. It can be contested. It can be even unevenly delivered, because the news was unevenly delivered. So it reminds us that freedom has always been demanded by people who refuse to give up. And so we celebrate it, but we carry the weight of it at the same time. Juneteenth is sacred for Black people.
Yes.
There's a celebration, but also a reminder.
It's interesting because Juneteenth has always meant something special to me because my people, my father's side of the family, are from Texas. And so,
Wow.
Juneteenth is something that we learned about at a very young age. And my grandmother, some people who know some of my history, my grandmother's from Texas. She's from East Texas, my grandfather too. And my
Hmm.
grandmother actually was firstborn generation free in our family. Can you believe this?
Wow.
In our lifetime.
Wow.
I'm gonna I'm gonna show you something. I wasn't planning on this, but I have to. This is my grandmother's father. And
Wow.
my great grandfather was actually born in 1861. So I'm the
Wow.
family historian.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
he was actually born into slavery and
Yeah.
should have been freed at 2, but was actually freed
Yeah.
at 4, you know,
4.
and
Yeah.
because of the region that he came from in Texas. So anyway, I this is very something near and dear to my heart as well, and that's why I think it's so important. So let me ask you, why do you think this generation today needs to know about this, even if they don't have family from Texas?
Well, I think it's important because history is important. In order for us to know where we're going, it's also important to know the foundation of how we got here. And so, oftentimes, this generation may not appreciate it, because I know growing up, I didn't always appreciate it. The history of my family. My grandmother had 18 children and 4 sets of twins. My mother was a twin, and as I begin to learn, I had the honor of leading our family reunion last year. Just to hear the history and to hear some of my aunts talk and hear some of the history and see us all come together was really important. But it was also important of the land we stood on in North Carolina, and why that land was important, and the blood, the sweat, the tears that was inside the land that we now get a chance to stand on. Juneteenth, I think, carries that same weight of glory,
Yeah.
of honor. And so I think that's why it's important for this generation to really, really lean in. It doesn't stop AI from happening. It doesn't stop, social media from happening. But those tools are avenues to amplify where we've been, where we are, and where we're going.
Excellent. Well, that's a great segue into this particular Juneteenth kickoff celebration is not just another event. It's going to be an experience. I mean, an actual experience rooted in reflection, storytelling, inspiration, and forward movement, which is what you're all about, moving forward. I know this
Yes.
event's going to take place at 4:30 on June 4th, and that's why it's a kickoff, because it's not on June 19th, but you're actually like opening the door and ushering it in because of other organizations that will also be celebrating it, and you want to give them the opportunity. I know that. So, Mr. G, what do you hope people will actually gain from attending this celebration?
Well, you're absolutely right, Coach. That it is we strategically and deliberately had it at the beginning of the month because we want to be the kickoff to really launch the other organizations who are doing Juneteenth during this month, not just in Orange County but throughout the region. I know LA will have a plethora of different events that are happening, but it's meaningful. It's not just another program where we come together. We come together all the time. But it is an opportunity for us to kind of sit with each other, listen to each other. It is an experience. We want people to feel the weight of the history. And I think that's important because it brings accountability. When you feel the weight of something, it gives you accountability in terms of everything that you do. You know that you're not just doing it for you for selfish gain.
Hmm.
So it's important to feel the weight of the history. It's also important to feel the hope of the community. Something amazing happens when we come together. We all in our different worlds, but when we come together and we see each other, we get comfortable. There's something powerful, I think, about that community. Hearing those stories inspires us, it challenges us, and moves us forward. So we're honored to have author R.C. Cooper. I'm traveling. I wish I had the book with me. He's our keynote speaker. His story alone of resilience, discipline, teamwork, collective rise, right? When you hear his story, I'm reading his book, and when you hear his story, that's going to inspire people. So that connects us deeply to the work of Juneteenth and that message. We also have a powerful panel that we're going to have. Dr. Keisha Alexander, Martha Daniel, and Dr. Mel Palmer are going to lead our panel discussion. They're all authors in their own right as well. So we are highlighting Black authors and the Black literary community. I think that's also important because the writings matter. The process of the writing matters. So these leaders are going to bring wisdom, experience, deep connection. I heard the first meeting with the panel went really well. So we're excited about that. So it's about our cultural expression. It's about our connection, our networking. So it's a special moment, and we have food, so that's good too.
Oh, and I understand we're gonna have entertainment. We're gonna have some dancers and singers. So it's gonna be amazing. But let's go a little bit deeper and a little bit serious, because I know one of the, overarching messages about the story that Black Orange County needs to share. What specifically, in your opinion, is that story?
Well, I think the story is really rooted in perception
Mm,
that in Orange County,
yes.
that there's no Black people in Orange County. Hello.
I know, and I have grandchildren and son and daughter-in-law down there. I know.
Yeah. And so one of the most pressing things I think, though, is visibility.
Mm,
One of the reasons why the Orange County Black Solidarity Network even came together is because even though we are only 2% of the county, we are high double digits in Black hate crimes within the county. And so that tells you something in terms of anti-Black hate that happens within the county.
mhm,
So I think visibility and being able to share our story of hope, but also the reality that um, these things actually do exist.
mhm.
And so for us, it's about how do we tell the story of economic mobility. Many Black families and many families in general, but this is focused on the Black community, are facing high cost of living, housing, wage gaps, all the things. And although Orange County is a beautiful place, it's also an expensive place to survive. And so I think that there's educational stories that we want to tell. Earlier you mentioned about mental health. I think May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so this particular month, and so we're trying to highlight all those things that I think are really important. But also, Orange County has a history of the story of Black people who have lived here, worked here, served here, built businesses here, lead institutions, raised children, created arts, fought for justice. I can go down to, in terms of the contribution that Black people have had and added strength to the region. It needs to tell the story of communities that have often been underrepresented, but never absent. We keep showing up.
Yes.
It also needs to tell the story of inequity. We cannot build a stronger Orange County if we are unwilling to acknowledge where disparities exist. But so I think the story is painful. It's also hopeful. It's powerful. It's about resilience. It's about excellence. It's about community. It's about Black leaders, Black educators, Black entrepreneurs, Black artists who are really coming together. That's the story that we want to tell that oftentimes get overlooked in the region of Orange County.
Wow, that was powerful. I felt every word that you were sharing and the importance of that. And so I'm glad that this story is going to be told. And if you don't mind, I'd like to pivot a little bit and I'd like to talk a little bit about your 25 years of leading transformative work. And your thoughts regarding leadership and the importance of leadership right now. What continues to drive your commitment to community impact?
I think what continues to drive me is that the belief that leadership is stewardship. And I'm a big, people who know me know that I'm a big John Maxwell fan. And so I've been certified under John Maxwell, but I have a lot of his books. But what drew me to him was he has one line, and that everything stems from leadership, whether it's the PTA meeting, the household, president of the United States, leading a school, leading an organization, everything, leading a basketball team, everything stems from leadership because it's a fundamental belief that leadership is stewardship.
Okay.
It's not just a position or title or visibility. It's about responsibility as well. I tell my team all the time that when we do good, I give more credit than I deserve when we do well. But when we don't, I'm the one who I hold the responsibility and the accountability when we don't. And so I don't take leadership lightly because it is a big part of stewardship. I grew up in systems where the door wasn't always open, or some of them were even closed. And so I understand the impact my leadership has on the people who are coming, who are around me and who are coming after me. And so that those things kind of feed me. But it's also my commitment to community impact. I grew up in poverty. I know what it's like to go hungry. I know what it's like to. I grew up in a housing project. I know what it's like to go without. I know what it's like to have a lack of opportunity. I was a teenage dad. Those things. I was everything that statistics say I should fail at. But it was people believing in me. It was people who so I have a lot of lived experience in those areas. But it took people believing in me and who impacted myself, my family, my children. So leadership for me is not abstract. Purpose is not abstract. Is what we do with what we've been given.
So let me ask you, with the days we're living in now, those who are in leadership, and I actually believe anybody can be a leader. To be a leader, it just means somebody's following you. If you turn around and no one's there, then you're not a leader. But that's why when you even mentioned about PTA or wherever you are in life, but for leaders, how can they help advance equity and justice today?
I think for us for leaders to really have the impact that they have, we have to acknowledge and not just talk about equity. Um, we have to live it,
Yes.
and we have to not just talk about leadership or talk about community impact. We have to really live it in a real way, and so it has to show up. Um, it can't just show up in our work life. It has to show up in all parts of our life.
Yes.
And so I try to hold myself accountable in every area of my life, whether it's when I'm at work, whether I'm going out to dinner, whether no matter what I'm doing, I try to hold myself accountable for ensuring that my moral compass and integrity and how I live and how I want to grow shows up in every area of my life, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm at church or whether I am in front of a crowd, whether I'm speaking, no matter what I'm doing. And oftentimes we see now that we have a lot of leaders who are not walking in that integrity, and we see the impact that it has. One of my favorite scriptures um, states that when the righteous are in leadership, the people flourish. When the righteous are in leadership, the people flourish.
Yes.
But when the evil are in leadership, we see the downfall of that. So all those things are really important in terms of how I walk in my own leadership, my own integrity.
Well, taking this conversation back to our Juneteenth celebration that will be coming up, What would you say to the person who is considering attending but isn't sure if this is the right space or place for them?
Why not? Because
Yes,
uh,
so true.
um, because it is a safe space, right? With all the things that are going on in the world, we're trying to create a space that's safe,
Yes,
safe for you to be you, safe when it comes to diversity, and because even all Black people are not the same, and so we come with all of who we are. So we want to create, we absolutely want to create a safe space. If you care about history, the space is for you.
yes,
If you care about community, the space is for you. If you care about equity and leadership and culture, the future of our region of Orange County, but also specifically the Black community, this space is for you.
mhm,
You don't have to know all the history of Juneteenth to attend. You just have to have an open heart. Um, be willing, be willing to connect, vibe with the right people. You want some people to vibe with. This space is for you. So this is not some exclusive space. Is an intentional space though.
yes,
Is a place where we are centering Black history and Black voices all in the same room. And I'm already excited about it because I know I'm going to walk away. Um, um, inspired to
yes.
go to the next level because there's always another level.
Yes. I'm excited and looking forward to it as well. And I also want to thank you for having me to be a part of the gathering and part of the team. But one of the things that I think is going to be so exceptional is people are going to come together and meet each other who maybe never knew each other, but are still in a very small
Yeah.
sphere of space that need to know each other in order to continue to do the work and the purpose that they've been called for. So let me ask you. So for people who, whether they can attend or not, but they're listening today and they want to engage with this type of work that you're involved with beyond the event. And I know we can give them the website, which is ocblacksolidaritynetwork.org. But what else would you say to them if they say, hey, Mr. Scott, I want to do something. I want to be involved. I want to help or I want to learn. What can you tell them?
I would say one, stay connected to the Orange County Black Solidarity Network. We are a group of Black-led organizations that includes Community Action Partnership. It includes 100 Black Men of Orange County. It includes a Black Chamber. It includes Arts and Conservatory. It includes CAP organization. It includes Orange County Community Foundation. Like it includes HEAL. It includes Thurgood Marshall Foundation. It includes these major movers and shakers of Black-led and these are Black leaders. And so, get connected to us in terms of the work that we are doing. So that's one way, is to stay connected to that work, and that work is really rooted around anti-Black hate, and fighting against anti-Black hate, and then kind of expands from there. I want to encourage people to attend the event, but don't let the engagement stop there. Follow the coalition, be a part of the coalition, share information, invite us to your events as well, because we want to show up for you as well. As we watch us on social media, as we have different community gatherings, support Black-led initiatives.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's important that we support one another.
Yes.
If it's $1, it's $1. If it's $1,000, it's $1,000. Volunteer, advocate, be a voice,
Yes.
and use your platform for good. We also need people to really, and sometimes we don't do this well. Sometimes I don't do it well. To really pay attention to policy and systems,
Mhm.
because that's when the inequity really happens when it comes to public policy.
Yes.
So everybody needs to have a vote, and everybody needs to really weigh in when it comes to different public policies that negatively impact us. And so I would say those are some real ways. Networking, being there and networking. Let's hear about what you're doing. You hear about what we're doing, and we figure out a master plan and strategy where we can really help one another.
I think you've hit it on the head. And, so I just feel like as we close today's episode, I want to leave our listeners with this. Juneteenth is not just a date. As a matter of fact, as I shared earlier, my people are from Texas. So for me, this is real. And we have to remember that it is a declaration. It is a reminder that even when freedom is delayed, it is still demanded. And more importantly, it is a call. It's a call to remember, to reflect, to rise. And for me, as the purpose partner, I want to add it's a call to become clear at your crossroads, unshakable in your truth,
Mm,
and grounded in strategic grace. Because when we do that, we don't just honor history, we can help shape the future. So, Mr. G, in closing, what is your closing comment, thought, remark that you want to leave with our listening audience?
Well, for one, I love the concept of strategic race, um, and being able to walk in purpose, and the work that you're doing matters. I want to affirm you in that the work that you're doing really matters. Helping when we all begin to walk in our purpose, man, there's nothing we cannot do. And so, you being in the forefront of helping other leaders, leading leaders, to be able to do that as we walk in strategic race, I love that concept. But the other thing I would leave this audience is this: Juneteenth is a reminder of freedom that must be remembered, protected, and advanced.
Yes,
Juneteenth is freedom that must be remembered, protected, and advanced. It's not enough to celebrate the announcement of freedom. We must continue the work of making freedom real in people's lives.
yes,
That's why we do the work that we do. That's why purpose matters.
yes,
That is not just celebrating freedom and the announcement of it. We have to do our work. And part of that work is making sure that we are making freedom real in people's lives. That means dignity in housing, or dignity in the work that we're doing, dignity in education, whatever area that, because all of us come, we when you come to this event, you're going to see people who are working in a lot of different areas.
right.
We need all of that to really make a difference. Coach, I am so grateful for you, more than you can ever know, for creating this space in this conversation. I'm grateful to the Orange County Black Solidarity Network, who continue to lead with purpose. Not always easy, not always in agreement, but one thing is fundamentally true. We want to make a difference, and that never changes. So I'm hopeful that this Juneteenth event, this celebration, will be more than a moment. I believe it can be a movement towards greater understanding, stronger community, and a more just future. That's what I want to leave.
And you know what? You touched on something because you talk so much about how Juneteenth is about remembering our freedom. And a lot of people are not understanding how much freedom is still on the line today. With all that we're dealing
Yes.
with, freedom is on the line for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And how you talked about the importance of understanding policy and public policy and legislation, and that if you don't understand or get involved or support those that are doing that work, how much our freedom can still be taken away from us. So I want to say thank you to you for the work you do, for the solidarity organizations that you're involved with, that you bring together in order to make sure that for those who can't, we could still support and do and the work through you, that you're the hands and the feet. But then that doesn't mean you can't have others that might be, other parts of the body, by volunteering, donating money, doing whatever we can. So I just want to thank you and appreciate you and appreciate what you're doing. And so with that, until next time, I'm Coach Wendy, your purpose partner, encouraging you to stay rooted and unshakable and lead with strategic grace. And if you haven't already done so, please go over to my website and subscribe at wendygladney.com, and you'll get a bunch of free downloads. And if you're interested, you can purchase my new handbook, and it's called the Purpose Partner Method Handbook. So until next time, you can also follow me on all my socials. I'm actually on TikTok now, believe it or not. And then, of course, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube at Wendy Gladney. So thank you. God bless you, and be safe out there. Take care. Bye-bye.
Exhale, let go, and enjoy the purpose.